Growing up Nigerian. Hi, welcome to Growing Up Nigerian, a podcast about the unique challenges Nigerian parents face in preparing their children to face the harsh realities of adulthood. This podcast analyzes concepts around developmental, psychological, and educational values and deep dives into age-long, controversial issues of when to give permission to kids and when to revoke it. So, if you're a Nigerian parent, a child, or someone passionate about child grooming, then this podcast is for you because it will help unpack, amongst other things, the unique realities of growing up Nigerian.
I heard the honk of the car from a distance and knew Daddy was home. He had promised to come home early today, something he didn't particularly do every day. But today was different. He was angry. He had taken one look at my school report on his way to work and had stopped in his tracks. He frowned, blinking again and again as he tried to understand what he was looking at. It was an F, and I had gotten it for my efforts at school this term. In an unexpectedly swift movement, he landed a slap to the side of my face that launched me against the side of the fridge. I slid to the floor, dazed as I felt the side of my face begin to swell. He stared at me as he approached, his face an angry mask. But Mommy grabbed him by the waist and began to scream. Daddy, please, oh, you will kill her. Please, she's your only daughter. She will do better next time, I promise. My ear didn't stop ringing all day from the slap. There was also a dull pulsating ache anytime I touched the side of my face. I remember that Daddy had sworn under his breath, pushing Mommy aside as he walked angrily out of the house.
I am coming home early today, and I will deal with you when I get back, you ingrate.
As he drove to the open gate, my heart began to pound. This was going to be the worst day of my life.
Welcome to Growing Up Nigerian episode 1, part 2. I hope you guys had fun listening to the first part of this episode. So this is the concluding part, and I hope you enjoy yourselves. So let's move the discussion to schools, right? Yeah. So they flogged me specifically. By the way, I'm a good person.
No, you're not.
They flogged me more in school, or I feel like they flogged more people in school than they flogged at home, right? And the teachers they took a joy, like a personal joy. Let me give you this one time. So I had this further math teacher. I wasn't doing so well at the time though. So he was the one that, man was a nuisance. Anyways, he saw my dad in the bank. So he came to class. He was like, Rose. He called me Rose. You know, so he was like, Rose, I saw your dad. I saw your father at the bank. He told me to take care of you in the school. I know my father would never have said that for any reason. So from that day forward, anytime he flogged me, he would remind me that your dad told me to take care of you. That's
Wow.
And then one day he flogged me and I went home and that's why did you ever tell this man? He's like, I didn't tell him about anything. And the teachers just took so much pride, in beating kids, So let's just get your opinion. What do you think about the whole teacher flogging kids thing? Yeah, go on.
Alright, so I went to a military school, so flogging was like a norm. For a while, okay, until maybe like SS3.
Yeah.
But it was like general flogging usually. It wasn't always I did something wrong or, it was like the entire class is making noise. The soldier comes in, flogs the entire class and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there was this one time.
Yeah, that story.
There's always this one time.
Yeah.
Okay, there were several times actually, but let me just tell you this one time. So I was in SS2, I think. I was in SS2. So it was after school. I was in class with a friend of mine.
Okay. Okay.
Go
I
on.
was in class with a friend of mine.
With a female friend of yours.
Yeah, you
My
have to be
girlfriend at the time.
specific.
All right.
So we were frolicking.
Okay.
In quotes, we were frolicking, and a teacher came in and saw us.
My God.
And the guy was just an ass. It was basically just yeah.
Yeah.
So he came in and he saw us together and he was like, what are we doing, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. And
it was very obvious what
Okay.
you were doing. It was very, very obvious.
we obviously tried to play it down and just say just lied to him and said we're just
Studying, right?
no, not studying.
Okay.
Not
What
studying.
kind of excuses now?
Not studying. We were just hugging and
all right.
chilling.
Oh, okay.
So the guy was like, I don't know why he took offense. I don't know. I think the guy just
I
hated
guess
me
you
or
like the
something.
the girl.
No, he hated me.
Oh,
So he started, raising hell and shouting and everything. Then he took me to the maths departmental office and all, and I was like, blah 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 blah. So he flogged me, right?
Yeah.
He flogged me that day. So when I got home, I told my mom that there was this lecturer because I think he injured my hand or something like that. So when I got home, I told my mom, blah blah blah. Luckily, my mom was like PTA executive and all. So she was like, why would he flog me like that? Blah blah. I didn't tell my mom the full story.
Yeah, I was about to get into that part. Okay.
So when my mom came to the next day, she went straight to the commandant's office and was like that one of their teachers, blah blah, flogged me and all. So my mom was like,
okay.
that she's not going to take that kind of this thing that the lecturer has to apologize. I mean, the teacher has to apologize.
To you.
Legit, to this guy actually came to your class to apologize to me.
Really?
Obviously, no. He
called
me
you out.
Okay.
Because commander was like that. Wow, did you something like that? It was after school. It was like there was no reason for his. I don't even know what
Actions, right?
It made no sense. But people just like you say, they like to flog.
But I guess it
children.
wasn't right for you doing that in school, within the school premises, right?
I wasn't doing anything illegal. I was just.
Hello.
I mean, it wasn't
At what
illegal.
age? Hello.
Let's not go into that.
It wasn't illegal. It's not like we're doing something serious. It was just.
Okay.
Okay, all right, let's move on. Let's move on from that. We'll talk about that behind the scenes. Yeah. So I went to a boys and girls school, and the girls school was like the very next building. But the way it was arranged, right? The girls had to like walk past the boys' school to get to their own. So this one time, it was not one time, it happened a lot. They were flogging them. It was so odd.
Flogging the girls?
Yeah, like the boys, when they flog boys, they stand out every week. Something happens. They always call a special assembly to flog. Like, why even make it so like public? I don't know. Well, that's another thing entirely. So I don't know. It was a male teacher that was flogging this female student, and I don't know if there's something about females screaming in pain, but that thing meshed with, kind of stayed with. Like I must see it every time I imagine it. So I want to ask Thomas. Were you like flogged like that? I mean, you admit you were flogged in school now,
Yeah, once.
How is it once? Okay, maybe girls are not as violent or playful as boys. Although I doubt it, because it's Rama's
But you don't have to.
So just tell us about how it was, If there's like, I think there might be a certain, maybe difference between being like a boy child being flogged.
I don't think
And
there's...
for girls, maybe parents will probably look at it differently because, it's the girl child, right?
So I went to a girls only school and I got flogged only once. And that was because someone went against the school rules. Not really school rules, like class rules, and we had to get punished for someone else's sin.
Like your class?
Yes, my class. So what happened that day was that we're told to come outside under the sun, kneel down, and like for 1 hour. We knelt down under the sun for 1 hour. And before you know it, they called the disciplinary officer or whatever they call them. I don't know. I was like, okay, this was what happened. They need to be flogged before they can go back to their classes. That is after being punished for a good 1 hour.
Like, that sounds bad for you. That's nothing really, but okay.
No, it wasn't really. Well, what really pained me was the fact that I knelt down under the sun, not the cane, not the flogging. Under the sun was the painful part for me, not the flogging.
Yeah.
You get so.
I mean, if we remove like school, remove school from what she just said and put like prison camp or like fourth world country where there's a dictator, it sounds almost like they're torturing people. That's the thing that they do in school. I don't think people notice the amount of. There's so much pleasure in the wordings, quote and unquote, or the teachers flogging people. It's ridiculous, and they have so many things they used to flog people, right? Like she said, it's a whip.
Yes.
And then, like, what are the things?
There is ruler.
That was some primary school stuff, man.
No, even in secondary schools.
I feel like hands were parents, Parents did the whole hand thing. Yeah.
And legs as well.
What?
Yeah, the kick.
Sticks
in school.
Yeah.
Teachers had sticks.
Yes.
Okay, I remember this one teacher who went home with his canes. Like, you will see him when you're coming to school in the morning. He will literally be holding the cane. And then some people said he was whispering to the cane or something. I'm not exactly sure.
And there's this, I don't know what they call it. Is it water hose or something?
Like this,
yes,
that
I know.
pipe in cars.
Yes, exactly.
I can't remember the belt, the fan belt from the cars.
No.
Not fan bells.
No.
Well,
Water hose.
Yes, water hose.
Literal like a pipe.
Exactly.
Wow, that's just crazy. All right, so let's
I do want to hear the truth. My dad actually used that. Yeah, so
sad memories. It's never good when they flog kids. So Rama, let me ask you, what's your how's your relationship with your dad? Seeing has he flogged you with the pipe thing?
well, not the friendly one.
Hey, what do you mean? He's not the friendly one.
Not the friendly kind of relationship. Yes.
Okay.
Well, I understand his own side of, the fact that, okay, he wants to, train his children in the best way that he feels. Well, can we really not talk about it? Because I don't really want to talk about it.
Okay, all right. That got a little intense.
I don't really want
All
to
right,
talk
no
about it.
no problem, no problem. Concerning the let's get back to the whole school thing. And if you go back, I mean, when the time when I guess we were in secondary school, the seniors at the time had like, I don't know, they had this violent
Power.
streak or power, yeah,
Yes.
where they now use bells to flog kids. This one time, the boarders, like in school was a mixed school, that's day students and boarding house students. So they usually like wash their plates after they finish eating from the dining hall. So this junior, I think the senior was like drinking water, with his hands and everything. And I think the junior thought he was done. I'm not exactly sure what happened. He like put his plate under the tap. At the same time, the senior was drinking, and the senior just slapped him. Like, when
Wow.
something echoes around the school. It was that, okay, I'm probably exaggerating it, but I was standing, I saw it happen. It's not like he told me. Slapped him. Pulse came out from the guy's ear.
Wow.
I was shook. Like, and that was a time when those things were bigger and tougher. I feel like at this point, kids have, I don't know, it's like
Leveled out.
we've leveled that. It's almost like the world is becoming more intelligent, so we don't need more physical,
Yeah.
attributes. So, is it possible? Here's the question: is it possible that because kids have started leveling out like that, parents don't need to flog as much, or teachers don't need to flog as much because the students will, or the kids will be more susceptible to talking or to logic rather than physical pain. Like at this point, you can now talk to them. They will understand that, okay, we did this. This is why we are being punished. Not, I think punishment should still flow. There should be repercussions to actions, right? But do you think that kids have leveled out, like because they've leveled out, they're no more like physically imposing? That logic and talking to will now be the best way to go. What do you think?
Well, I never thought, or I have never thought that flogging your kids was because of their physical attributes, was because you just wanted to flog them.
Yeah. I feel like kids have become less violent though over time. So let's get back to the school issue, right? All right. So when we were in school, I guess our generation, I guess when we were back in secondary school, yeah. So the seniors,
Seniors.
right? They were more physically imposing. Let's agree on that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I'm pretty tall I was pretty tall for my age at the time, but they were taller for some reason, the bulkier guys, and they used to like really, really beat juniors. It was a problem. Like you could not even go in front of the senior block Or like there was this one thing that was really popular where they'll give you like 200 naira, send it to buy something, or 500 naira, and then you have to come back with change of 300 naira. It was like very impossible. So like, what you guys? Okay, let me ask this: but when you were seniors, did you guys like do something of the sorts?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Rama, go.
Yes, I did, but
Details. We need details.
okay. Yes, I
details.
did. I did.
Yeah.
And that was like one time. Yeah, just one
It's
time.
always one time. Like,
Just one
who
time.
has noticed? Like,
Just
always
one time.
it
Yes,
happens.
just
Okay.
one time. So
Okay.
what really happened? I was at the gate that day. You know what we do is that every morning, certain seniors
Yeah.
go to stand at the gate. Like one, two, or three seniors go to the gates just in case those coming in late. Yeah, so they
come
get to
on.
punish them or either flog them. So I realized that okay, the other seniors were not really doing their job, kind of, and also the juniors were being disrespectful, and also the fact that okay, even when I give orders, they don't follow the orders. So I said, okay, this time I'm going to be the one to stay at the gate while the other seniors can go in. So then, no, and be the fact that okay, I wasn't really that tall. I wasn't tall either. Yeah, I wasn't a tall
You're
kind
not
of person.
tall right now.
I wasn't tall. Whatever.
No
Okay,
shade, no shade, bro.
whatever.
Okay.
So and most of the juniors were, these tall kids, and I wonder what
You must
exactly
have
they eat. You
hatred
get?
for
I'm
tall
like,
kids.
okay. So I felt at some point, okay, is it because I'm short? These kids are just like they have no respect for their elders. You get? So
And then you flog them.
okay, so what I did that day was going to the office, the principal's office, to get a whip, koboko. That's what they call koboko. Yes. So every student that was coming in, that came in past 9 that day. No, not even past 9, past 8.
Yeah.
Got flogged. I
By-
made sure
by
that
you?
yes, by me. They were surprised. They were all surprised because that was something I wouldn't do. You
Yeah.
understand? On a normal day.
Yeah.
So they felt like, okay, what could have gone wrong? What really happened?
So like right now in the country, like watch people running around with the memory of you flogging them. No revenge.
Yes,
It's a karma, man.
they understand. I thought
You
they
sure?
understood.
You're
Yes,
sure
they
they
understood. Yes, they
they
understood the fact. Yes, that,
Ah,
okay.
I pretty
I
much
was
doubt
only
that,
doing
but
my
okay.
job. No, I was only doing my job.
Yeah,
You get? Yes.
which
I was
makes me
just trying to,
okay, finish.
maintain, that orderliness. Get?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I feel that. I feel that.
So-
It made me think as you were speaking that okay, so I thought you were not really flogged as a child, right?
Yes.
And we've already said that people who were flogged will flog. But then you flogged. So
Yeah.
what made you flog? I don't think it's school culture. They did this to us. On some level, we were fine. For maybe people like you were fine, I guess. You and Omo were fine.
I'm still fine.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Right? And then along the line, you got into school, you became seniors, and then you were allowed to flog people. And somehow you trained yourself into flogging people, and now you flog. I mean, now you're
No,
violent.
I don't.
being-
I'm not.
You
a
don't know.
violent-
I feel like at this point you don't know. It could still be
I
there.
know.
It's something that was
It's
trained
not there.
into you.
No, I don't think so.
No, now here's the thing: they were kids.
Yes.
They were disorderly.
Yes.
And you flogged them.
Yes.
You will have kids.
Of
They will
course.
be disorderly.
you
You flog them. It is what it is.
But it's not going to be like an everyday thing you get. In flogging, sometimes I feel it's necessary though, if you ask me.
But they didn't do it to you.
Yes, they didn't.
So don't you
But
think something
my
was
dad
wrong
did,
somewhere?
not
Oh, okay.
my dad
Yeah,
did.
You
Yes,
mentioned it.
to
Yeah.
some
Let's-
extent, he did.
Let's swerve away from the dad thing. So let's talk about Omar. What did you do? Like very quickly. So what did you do as a senior in school? Were you one of the ones that use belts? Belts were a thing in my own school.
No. I was nice senior. I was like
Really.
chill. Yeah. I was super chill. Just
I find that at
Your nose is growing.
how?
You're lying.
Pinocchio, you're lying.
Really, I was nice. I was a nice senior.
Okay.
I was nice to everybody. Yes.
Yeah, I guess for me, there has to be a balance between fear and loyalty for me because I didn't want to flog people. I mean, I feel it's so barbaric in nature, right? But there was this one time where there was a junior. Okay, they told us to send everybody back to classes after like break time or something, and he was just a class below me. At this, when you come from school, you guys are probably G's because he's not your junior at that point. Yes, he's younger, but you guys could work together, be friends. I guess I started thinking like that already. So I thought I should be able to just tell you, go inside. You're supposed to go inside. But he was claiming, some kind of boss thing, and I was about to fight. And I was not exactly the strongest of people. He was, I don't know, for a junior, he was really big. Anyways, my mates saw what was happening and they popped their belts. Like, it was one of those reflex actions. You could almost hear the whip sound of the belt leaving, their trousers and everything. And they flogged him. And from that point, it's like something switched in my mind. Like,
They flogged him on your behalf. Or
yes.
what? Okay.
And from that point, once the junior did something, it was like the flogging just worked. Like, once they mess up, you flog them. They do what they're meant to do. And I noticed that's something I kept on doing. And I have younger brothers at home, and I guess now they're grown up. But there was a time when my parents had to even ban me from like disciplining them because they allowed me to do it, and then I overdid it to some point, and they had to like say stop. So I'm saying, so the point is, school somehow trained us again.
Yes.
Even after maybe the parents probably did it or they didn't do it, but school trained us again.
Okay.
Into becoming those kind of people somehow.
Sorry to interrupt it there.
Yeah.
And I can remember back then a teacher called me to his office and was like, okay, sorry, you're the head girl.
Yeah.
If you don't punish this student, they're going to disrespect you. They won't follow your orders. So you have to cultivate the habit of punishing them either by flogging, whichever way you feel it's cool with you. Yes, necessary. So at that point, I felt okay. I guess that's just the best way to go about teaching people what to
fear.
Yes. No, not to fear, like to do the right thing.
To do the right thing.
Yes. Not to fear.
So is it possible to maintain order, right? Like, that you said, Ramat, and do it without fear? That'll be the next question. That's what I want to ask you guys. Is it possible? So yeah, Omo, you're the one who didn't flog. That makes sense, right? You didn't flog. So how were you? You're a senior in school. How did you maintain order with the juniors without flogging them or doing anything like that?
I think respect comes into it somehow. I don't know if everybody respects you in a kind of way. It's just like you respect your dad.
Okay.
That's why you listen to what he tells you to do more often than because he flogs you. Do you understand?
Okay.
So if you respect your parents or if you respect your students or classmates or whatever, if they respect you, then they'll be able to do what you say to a large extent. I mean, compared to when you flog them. If you flog a child and the child gets used to flogging, like I've said, I haven't said that. And the child gets used to flogging, then at some point it becomes what's the worst that can happen? It's just going to flog me. And then, there's disorderliness everywhere. So I think respect is like a big thing there. Yeah,
I mean, it kind of reminds me of this one time when there was this game center. I don't know if you know game centers when we were little. Yeah,
so
I couldn't stop myself. I was very stuck inside type of child. Or get inside, that's what you call it, right? So I was an get inside type of child until the game center. I couldn't help myself. I just had to go and play every time I had a chance. So my dad had, he told me more than 1-2 times, like, don't go back there. There are many shady characters there, blah blah blah. So this one time he came there, he saw me, and then for the first time, I think at that point he was just done. He didn't shout, he didn't do anything. He just walked away. And I was just looking at his back and we were going home. I was like, oh, this flogging is going to be majestic today. You're preparing your mind for the flogging. And then he did nothing. Like, my house was upstairs. And then he went upstairs and he just turned back, looked at me, and he just shook his head and went inside. So he shook his head and went inside, and that was the last time I went to that place, guy. It was amazing the way I felt so bad that he didn't flog me. And it made me realize the flogging they've been doing before that point probably wouldn't. I mean, we don't hate our parents. We're trained to love them. They think children are born with love, right? So the flogging kind of changes you as a person. People kind of glorify pain in Nigeria to an extent where we are proud that I suffered, this is where I am now. But we're not prisoners and we're not soldiers. I mean, soldiers can glorify pain, we're not civilians like us. So to an extent, I feel like the flogging of the kids in school or even at home would just in turn make them, like we've said before, violent people who would flog
their own kids.
And it's a fear that I legit have, and I think like many people out there have, becoming our parents or becoming people who would still flog their kids. And many of my friends have said it before, I will not flog my children because, oh my god, flogging, it really isn't, the way. So final talking points, right? Let's compare as kids in Nigeria. I think we've seen films and we know how the European culture works. They don't flog them at all. Yeah, so in your own, in your own words and from your own perspective, who do you think comes out on top? As in who grows up to be the best type of child or adult? So we have one side where there was no flogging, go to your room, and maybe sometimes they talk back at our parents. Oh my god, and all of that. Most of us didn't have our rooms to run to at the end of the day. But who do you think comes out as superior adults? Those of us who were flogged in Nigeria, and those in the Western world, I guess, who were not, or more.
I think it's a balancing act. It's a balance thing. Some kids that were flogged turn out to be, great people or turn out to be better humans than kids that weren't flogged, and then the reverse is also the case for some other kids as well that weren't flogged.
Yeah. But
Can I say something?
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
There's this. I don't know if I can say this in Yoruba.
Okay.
Yeah. There's this proverb in Yoruba that Ọmọ tó ń bá kọ́lé tó bá lọ síta àtúrò ẹ̀kọ́. So meaning in the sense that like a child who is trained
Inside
at home, when he or she goes out, it's left for him or her to train himself. You get. So I just like he said, it's a balancing thing. You understand? Like it doesn't really matter if you were flogged or not flogged. It all depends on how you. What you tell yourself, how you want to turn out. Okay, I don't care if I was. It doesn't matter if I was trained in a certain way. This is who I want to become. This is who I'm going to be. You get. So it's.
Okay.
I don't think flogging or really has that effect on what someone becomes in future.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let Omo.
For me.
Let Omo go.
I actually think punishment or
Spanking or
spanking,
whatever.
whatever the case is, does play a factor.
Factor.
Factor or something.
I actually think it plays a part in who you become or how you end up in life, because there are some kinds of punishments that it might not affect you like immediately, but as you grow older, those things they play on your mind. And
well, for me as an individual, the punishment or the flogging wasn't what did this to me or made me or shaped me into who I am now. Regret. Like words did that, because I know my mom back then she doesn't flog. What she does is that she just sits you down and talk to you. You get. So then they thought, okay, like the fetching of water, to them it was a punishment.
Okay.
Right? And at the same time they thought it was going to make me okay, because they knew I don't like fetching water.
Okay.
So they felt okay doing that. In as much as they're trying to punish me, they're also trying to train me, and make me want to, like love doing that thing. You get. Like they want me to enjoy doing it. It's a thing. Like you must do it as a woman. When you grow up, you have to fetch water. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of the home. You get. So, but till date, I still don't like fetching water. It doesn't do anything. For me, it's still a punishment.
Okay.
You get. It's not something I love doing. So it hasn't shaped me in any way. It's only made me hate it the more.
I don't want to be sensitive, but
okay, go. Yeah, just do.
Don't you think the fact that your dad flogged you when you were growing up, played a factor in or played a part
my
in
relationship with him, right?
And where you are now?
No, funny enough, that wasn't what.
No.
That wasn't. That was why I said, can we not talk about it?
Him.
Can we not talk? I didn't want to talk about it because because I said it like I just didn't want to, and that was the reason why I said let's not talk about it, because it wasn't really the flogging that caused the
rift.
Between exactly. So.
Okay.
Let's not talk about
this
it.
Is as much this is for us as much as for the people we're talking to. So if you want to talk about it, we're here.
Yeah, but maybe some other time, but definitely not today.
Okay, all right. So let's just do it like a quick summary of everything that we've talked about today. So we've agreed that people who parents beat or spank because that's what they know.
Yeah, for some parents.
For some parents, right? Because that's what they know. Or how to do it, because that's what was done to them.
Yeah.
They know exactly.
That's the only way they know how to train.
That's the only way they know how to train children. And we've agreed that the school plays a part in training us into becoming violent people too.
Yeah.
Very much.
But at the
Apart
same-
from Omo, for some reason.
I don't know, Sha.
I was the same human being.
I don't know.
I'm still saying now.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Anyway, but we'll talk about that. We
Yeah, of
both
course.
know you're not.
Yeah. So I will just like, to add that, seeing that we mentioned that kids we've become more intelligent over time and less,
Less physical.
less physical. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like we've agreed that more talking to is needed.
Yeah,
than
definitely.
Yeah, than flogging.
Yeah. So what's the age limit? So we admit that some, you still beat children, like really small children, like this last thing. Yeah. What's the age limit where you say, okay, don't beat this child anymore? You cannot use, talking and logic. What do you think is the
I
age?
think the age. No, for me 7.
It's basically the
Same
same
thing,
age.
Yeah, but yeah.
Why 6? Why 7?
So I think from 5, the child's already, smart enough to know what's right and what's wrong. So after that, if you tell
I
someone,
think
tell
from
the child,
7, a child is smart enough to know that okay.
We
this is
agree
the right
between
thing.
5 and 7, children
Yeah.
should stop being
Stop
flogged
being
and you start
flogged,
talking
yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
All right, fine. This has been quite a conversation. Thank you guys for being here, taking out the time for this, little talk / therapy session that we've had here. Thank you very much for listening to us today. This is still Growing Up Nigerian, a podcast by Codex. And my name is Abraham Sharon, and with me is...
Kelwa.
And
Ramatakaba.
yeah, so thank you guys for being here with us. So you can leave comments on our social media platforms, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And of course, let's keep the conversation going, because we know we're kids now, or young adults now, and we're going to become parents.
Very
And I'm really hoping that you've learned something today about how to treat your kids and how not to treat your kids. So thank you very much for being here. This has been Growing Up Nigerian. Have a very good day. Thank you.
Hey, you can listen to more amazing episodes of the Growing Up Nigerian podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, or your preferred podcast platform.